As the woman was about to give birth, the doctors were stunned. They discovered that the fetus was gripping the umbilical cord with both hands, seemingly trying to end a life that hadn't even begun. The scene shattered everyone's understanding of what was possible. Despite their best efforts to save the baby, the infant closed its eyes forever. This was the woman's third unexplained miscarriage. Devastated, she felt that fate had been cruelly unfair to her. What she didn't know was that this heartbreaking outcome was actually the best possible solution her child, Evan, could find after repeatedly trying to alter destiny. In fact, Evan had once experienced the beauty of life. Even though his father had been institutionalized for severe mental illness for as long as Evan could remember, his childhood was still relatively happy thanks to the deep love and care of his mother. But that happiness came to a sudden end when Evan turned 7. One day, after dropping Evan off at school, his mother was about to drive away when a teacher knocked on her car window. Urgently, the teacher led her back into the classroom. At first, the mother feared Evan had gotten into trouble. But to her shock, the teacher explained that during art class the previous day, she had asked the children to draw their dreams for the future. Evan, however, turned in a disturbing drawing. When she asked him about it, he claimed he had no memory of the art class at all. Worried, especially given his father's mental history, Evan's mother immediately took him for a full brain scan. Fortunately, the results came back normal. The doctor, based on his experience, suspected Evan might be suffering from intermittent memory loss and recommended she encourage him to keep a journal. Writing things down, he explained, might help strengthen Evan's memory. Thinking the worst was behind them, Evan's mother was shocked again the very next day. As she turned around to grab her purse before heading out, she found Evan standing in the kitchen, holding a knife with a blank, emotionless expression. Terrified, she asked what he was doing. Evan snapped out of it and quickly dropped the knife. He had no memory of what had just happened. This terrified her. But with work obligations over the weekend, she had no choice but to send Evan to stay with the neighbors. Their 2 children had grown up playing with Evan, so it seemed like a safe place. What she didn't know was that this would become the origin of all Evan's nightmares. Soon after she left, the neighbor's daughter, Kelly, excitedly told Evan that her dad had bought a new video camera and wanted to make a movie with them. A flash of light later, Evan found himself in the basement, again with no memory of how he got there or what had just happened. The neighbor, suddenly acting like a different person, threatened Evan, telling him to cooperate or he'd tell his mother Evan had misbehaved. Evan tried to ask Kelly what was going on, but she said nothing, tears hanging in her eyes. Her younger brother, Tom, sat silently in the corner, his rage betrayed by the twisted, broken doll clenched in his hands. That night, Evan's mother sought help from a doctor again. After she described the recent incidents, the doctor theorized that Evan's memory loss could be linked to stress. He noted that Evan had grown up without a father figure and that his most recent episodes occurred around the neighbor's father. The doctor suggested that perhaps arranging a meeting between Evan and his father might help with his condition. When Evan arrived at the psychiatric hospital, he barely exchanged a few words with his father before another episode hit. The next thing he knew, his father had snapped, grabbing him by the throat in a violent rage. It was as if he had lost all sense of reality. As the situation spiraled out of control, the security guards had no choice but to intervene, knocking the father unconscious. Tragically, that blow ended his life.